I will briefly introduce myself and we will begin. My name is Marshall. For those of you I've not met, I'm from a small town in Kentucky called Valley Station, Kentucky. Went to school in Indiana. I got a PhD at UCLA. I was a college professor and dean when I was very young. Then for the past 38 years, I've done three things. One is like today, I give talks or teach classes, which is what I love to do the most. Then the second thing I do, which I'm most famous for, is I coach executives. And what I love about coaching is that's where I learn so much. And then the final thing I do is write and edit books and articles. My most popular book, many of you have read, is called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. That was my 23rd book. And after writing 22 books, it was very good to write a book that someone finally bought. Yes, people bought this book other than assorted relatives. So I've got a great job. The only hard part of my job is I do travel constantly. On American Airlines alone, I have over 11 million frequent flyer miles. Have any of you seen the movie Up in the Air with George Clooney? I have the card. And this always happens to me with the card, especially with women. I show them the card. They would say the same thing. You look exactly like George Clooney. Now, what are we going to be doing today? Today, I'm going to be talking about my new book, Triggers, Becoming the Person You Want to Be. Oh, and by the way, a couple of invitations. Send me an email, marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com. I love getting emails. And visit my website, www.marshallgoldsmith.com. I give everything away. All my material, you may copy, share, download, duplicate, use in your church, charity, or nonprofit. Use my material any way you wish. Now, what are we going to be doing today? First, we're going to learn from 6 different studies why the most important variable for success in leadership development, coaching, and engagement is the person, not the program. 2, I'm going to share a process called the daily question process and talk about how it's going to help you become more effective. I'm going to teach you something today that takes 2 minutes a day and costs nothing. It's going to help you get better at almost anything. Now, some of you are a little skeptical. You're thinking, wait a minute, 2 minutes a day costs nothing, going to help me get better at almost anything? That sounds too good to be true. I'll make another prediction. Half the people that start doing this will quit within 2 weeks. And you will not quit because it does not work. You'll quit because it does work. Everything I'm going to teach you today is going to be incredibly easy to understand. It's just incredibly difficult to do. We're going to talk about new research on something called active questions with my daughter Kelly that I'm doing, very exciting. And then you're all going to be invited to participate in a study yourself to see, does this work for you? So rather than being an abstract theory, I'm going to send anybody that wants to participate an email every day for 10 days. You'll get a chance to practice yourself and see how it works for you. And we're going to practice peer coaching. Stand up, find one person you haven't met yet, sit next to that person. Go, stand up, find a partner, a new partner. Go, 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 find a partner. Okay, sit by your new partner. Sit by your new partner. Sit, sit, sit. Sit by your new partner. Okay, shh. We are going to practice peer coaching. In peer coaching, you are not here to judge your partner. Shh, shh, shh. You are not here to critique your partner. You are not here to put your partner down. You're here to help your partner. I want you to shake hands with your partner and say, partner, my name is, I'm here to help. Shake hands with your partner. Go. Now, I went to a presentation at the National Academy of Human Resources. I'm a fellow in the National Academy of Human Resources, and they did an interesting presentation on the topic of employee engagement. And these were 3 of the top HR people in the world, and the presentation was very impressive. They talked about everything they knew about engagement: recognition, rewards, training, compensation, empowerment. It was all wonderful. Then they said, in spite of everything, global employee engagement is near an all-time low. I'm thinking, wait a minute. If we all know so much, why is it employee engagement is no better today than it was 30 years ago? It hasn't gone anyplace in the last 30 years. Then I realized one thing. 100% of the discussion was, what can the company do for you? And absolutely 0% was what you can do for yourself. Now, when I say 100 and 0, this is not an exaggeration. 100% of the dialogue in employee engagement was, what is the company going to do to engage you? And absolutely 0 was, what can you do to engage yourself? I remember the famous John Kennedy speech. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. This was 100% the opposite of the John Kennedy speech. It was all, what's somebody to do for you, and nothing, what are you going to give back? Well, I thought about this, and I thought, wait a minute, these people are missing half an equation. I'm always flying on the airplane. There are two flight attendants. One's positive, motivated, upbeat, enthusiastic. One's negative, bitter, angry, and cynical. Have any of you ever been on that flight before? Same pay, same uniform, same employee engagement program. What's the difference? The difference is not what's on the outside. The difference is what's on the inside. Well, that got me started to thinking about various sources of research that show why the real variable is not the program, it's the person. Learning from executive coaching. In my coaching, I don't get paid if my clients don't get better. Better is not judged by me or them, it's judged by everyone around them. This is not a secret, it's a well-publicized fact. The client I spent the most amount of time with didn't improve at all, I didn't get paid. Client I spent the least amount of time with improved more than anyone ever coached. 200 people got better and I did get paid. This is a humbling experience. For those of you with a background in mathematics, I made a chart. On one dimension, it was called time spent with Marshall Goldsmith. The other dimension was called improvement. There was a clear negative correlation between spending time with me and getting better. I thought, well, this is a troubling chart. I go talk to my friend who improved the most, who was ranked last year as the #3 greatest leader in the world in Fortune magazine. His name is Alan Mulally. Alan just retired as the CEO of the Ford Motor Company, did a spectacular job of turning the company around. Stock went from 1 to 18.4, and he did not take 1 cent of our United States government taxpayer money. Little round of applause for this guy. Good guy. I go talk to my friend Alan. I said, Alan, of all the people I've coached, I spent the least amount of time with you, and you improved the most. Then I said, Alan, I showed him my chart. I said, Alan, the way this chart looks, had you never met me, you'd really be good. So I asked my friend Alan, what should I learn about coaching from you? He taught me 2 lessons. He said, lesson number 1, your biggest challenge as a coach is called customer selection. You pick the right customer, you win. You pick the wrong customer, you lose. And he said, don't make the coaching process about yourself and your own ego and how smart you are. Make it about those great people you work with and how proud you are of them. Then he said, as the CEO of Ford, my job isn't that different. I don't design the cars, I don't build the cars, I don't sell the cars. I got to have great people. And every day I go to work, I tell myself, leadership's not about me, it's about them. Well, one of the messages we have not given the employees is, it's about you. We've told them it's about a program. My research on leadership development is very compelling. I've got a research study. 86,000 people have been in my classes. I measure, do they do the stuff and do they get better? You know what? Shockingly, the people that do the stuff get better. Amazingly, the people that go to the classes and do absolutely nothing don't improve. Now, I have good news. They don't get worse. No, they just stay the same. Well, you don't get better because you go to a training program. You don't get better because you put a values plaque on the wall. You don't get better because you hire an executive coach. The key variable to change is who? It's inside us. We are that key variable. Now, why is change so difficult? Why is it we fail on even little things? Why are all of our New Year's resolutions dropped? We live in a perfect storm of distraction. A perfect storm of distraction. President Clinton talked about that. I thought it was interesting. He said he didn't have a TV. That's one of the reasons he was so successful. We live in a perfect storm of distraction. Emails, voicemails, text messages. Why don't people do what I teach? Well, I'm probably the only teacher you know that's measured this from tens of thousands of people. I said, why don't you do this stuff? Years ago, my biggest client was Johnson & Johnson. 98% of the people into my class said, I'm going to do what Marshall just taught. A year later, 70% did something, 30% did nothing, not even 1 minute. I'm not ashamed of these numbers. I'm proud of these numbers. 70% of 2,000 people is 1,400 people getting evaluated by 10 coworkers each. 14,000 people have a little better life. That's a pretty good thing. I got to talk to people that did nothing and said, why did you do nothing? Answer had nothing to do with ethics, values, integrity. It had to do with a dream. Yes, this is a dream I've had for years, and many of you have had this dream. Many of you have had this same dream. Many of you have had this same idiotic dream on a recurring basis for years. And this is going to describe why in life we don't do what we know we should. Some of you are thinking, wait a minute, he don't know my dreams? What's he talking about? Don't bet against me on the dream. What's the dream sound like? I'm incredibly busy right now. Given pressures of work and home and new technology that follows me everywhere, and emails and voicemails and global competition, I feel about as busy as I ever have. Sometimes I feel overcommitted. I don't tell others, but every now and again, my life feels a little bit out of control. But you know, I'm working on some very unique and special challenges right now. And I think the worst of this is going to be over in about 4 or 5 months. And then I'm going to take 2 or 3 weeks and get organized and spend a little time with the family. And I'm going to begin my new Healthy Life program. And after that, everything is going to be different, and it will not be crazy anymore. Has anyone in the room ever had a dream that vaguely resembles that dream? And how many years we've been having the same dumb dream? Well, there's not going to be any 2 or 3 weeks. Sanity's not going to prevail. Well, there's an outside chance tomorrow it's going to get even crazier than today. Now, we have a variety of delusions that keep us from becoming the person we want to become. The planner bias. What's that mean? The person doing the planning is not the person doing the doing. The understanding-doing gap. The challenge is not understanding. It's doing. We believe it won't take that long. Yes, it will. It won't be that difficult. Yes, it will. The high probability of low probability events. We never plan on these things because you say, what are the odds that would happen? Well, there's a million low probability events that could happen. We can't objectively evaluate ourselves. And the one thing that's probably the biggest, we deny our need for help and structure. We totally overestimate willpower, and we deny our need for help and structure. The Great Western Disease, I'll be happy when. The great employee engagement myth, the employees will be engaged when. When the company does this, they will all be engaged. Now I'm going to teach you what I promised. It takes 2 minutes a day, costs nothing, it's going to help you get better at everything. Are you ready? Yeah. Look into the eyes of your partner. Look into the eyes of your partner. I want you to imagine your partner is going to call you on the phone every night for the rest of your life. Every night. Now, I pay a woman named Kate to call me every day. She called me today. She'll call me tomorrow. She called me yesterday. Every day, Kate listens to me read 32 questions that I wrote and provide 32 answers that I wrote every day. Somebody asked me, why do you pay some woman to call you on the phone every day? Don't you know the theory about how to change behavior? I wrote the theory about how to change behavior. That's why I have some woman call me every day. I know how hard this is. You think it's easy for me? I got 11 million frequent flyer miles on one airline. Any of you have at least 1 million? How many is 11? That's a bunch, right? Well, that's an excuse to be out of shape and divorced, and I can make up all kinds of excuses with 11 million miles. They don't count for too much. Why do I have somebody call me every day? Because I need help. If I had the courage to do this on my own, you know what? I would. I don't have the courage to do this on my own. It's hard. Now, every day she listens to me read questions that I wrote. I'm going to share a couple of mine. The key, though, is here's your homework assignment. You get out that Excel spreadsheet. On one column, you write down a series of questions. 7 boxes across every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every question is answered with yes, no, or a number. Yes is a 1, no is a 0, or a number. Fill out the little form every day. At the end of the week, that Excel spreadsheet will give you a little report card. I'm going to warn you in advance. The report card at the end of the week will not be quite as pretty as that values plaque up on the wall. When we do this day after day after day, do you know what you quickly learn? Life is so easy to talk. Life is so hard to live. This is hard to do. This is hard to do. Now I'm going to share a couple of my questions. One of mine is, how many times yesterday did you try to prove you were right when it was not worth it? I've almost never got a 0 my whole life. Kind of hard for that old professor not to be right all the time. How about that old HR professional? Did you ever try to be right just a little bit too much? How about a good one for many people in this room? How many times did I try to help people yesterday when they had no desire to be helped? How many minutes did you walk, push-ups, sit-ups, just a whole bunch of questions about life. It's amazing how well this process works. And my friend Jim Moore would tell you this saved his life. It didn't kind of save his life or sort of save his life. It did save his life. Was one of the questions for him every day? Are you currently updated on your physical exam? First 90 days he did this, he said no every day. After 90 days, he said, this is embarrassing. I've got to get the dumb exam or quit asking a question. He got the dumb exam. Doctor said, you have cancer. That was several years ago. He's going to be fine. The doctor also said, had you waited 7 more months, you would have been dead. He was 65 years old. He knew he should have got a physical exam. When you hold a mirror in front of your face every day, it's hard to hide. How many people in this room, please raise your hands, have ever avoided a physical exam before and told yourself, I'm going to get that exam after I begin my healthy food diet and exercise program? Come on. Look at all these hands. Now, did we trick the doctor with that strategy? I was teaching at the University of Michigan. A man raised his hand. He said, I am the doctor. Well, we don't ask the question because we're afraid of the answer. Get in the habit of asking these questions every day, and it is amazing how well this works. Now I'm going to share the new research done by my daughter, Kelly. Some of you may have met my daughter, Kelly Ford, graduate of Duke University, was on the 3rd season of the TV show Survivor Africa. Worked with Mark Burdett 2 years. She did casting for Survivor, Amazing Race, got a PhD at Yale University, and now she's a professor of marketing at the Kellogg School. And proud daddy, just got ranked as one of the top 9 business school professors in the world under 40. Happy father, happy father. Kelly taught me something called active questions, which I'm going to share with you. Fantastic how well this works. Active questions. Kelly said everything in employee engagement has revolved around passive questions. What's a passive question? Do you have clear goals? Do you have meaningful work? Do you have a best friend at work? Kelly's research is very compelling. If you ask people a passive question and have a negative response, they will almost invariably blame the environment. She said, try asking people active questions. Now, I'm going to share now my first 6 questions every day. I'm going to recommend you ask yourself these 6 questions every day. What are the 6 active questions every day? Number 1, did I do my best to be happy? Rather than saying, did somebody make me happy, did I do my best to make myself happy? Number 2, did I do my best to find meaning? Rather than saying, did the company give me meaning, did I do my best to find meaning? Did I do my best to be fully engaged? Rather than did somebody engage me, did I engage myself? Did I do my best to build positive relationships? Rather than saying, do you have a friend at work? Were you the friend at work? Did I do my best to set clear goals? Rather than saying, did somebody set goals for me, did I do my best to set my own goals, and did I do my best to make progress against my goals? 6 questions every day. These are now my first 6 questions. I highly recommend these for you. Now, I want you to imagine, you have to go to a meeting. A boring meeting, stupid finance, PowerPoint slides. It's going to last 1 hour, you're dreading the meeting, and you have to go. How many people in the room have ever attended such a meeting before? We've all been to the meeting. Imagine at the end of the meeting, you're going to be tested. The company's not going to be tested, your boss is not going to be tested, the presenter's not going to be tested. You're going to be tested. 4 questions. Did I do my best to be happy, find meaning, build positive relationships, and be fully engaged? You are going to be tested. Talk to your partner, 20 seconds, and answer this question. If you knew you were going to be tested, what would you do to change your behavior to raise your score on at least one of those questions? Go, talk to your partner. If you know you're going to be tested, what would you do? Okay, stop. Let me quickly just call on some people here in the front. What's one thing you do different? One thing.
Participate more, be more deeply engaged.
Participate more, be more deeply engaged. How about you?
Same thing.
Participate. I have asked thousands of people around the world this question. Here's the deep point. No one out of 100,000 people I've asked this question to has ever said, I will do nothing different. No one. Now let me connect the dots. Let's go back to those 2 flight attendants. One's negative, bitter, angry, and cynical for the 3 hours. One's positive, motivated, and upbeat. Who's the real loser for 3 hours? It's not American Airlines. You're bankrupt anyway. It's not the customer. I'm the customer. After 5 minutes, I could care less about a flight attendant. Who's the real loser for 3 hours? The flight attendant. In that meeting, if you're disaffected and bored and checked out and alienated for an hour, who's the loser? It's not the company, it's you. Let me tell you what I love about what I just taught you. Is this good for your customers? Yes. Is it good for your company? Yes. It's better for you. It's better for you. Now let me share our new research, which is pretty amazing. If you're interested in participating, all you need to do is send me an email, marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com, and then write 6 and a question mark. I'll sign you up for the study. You're going to get an email from me every day for 2 weeks asking these 6 questions. By the way, you know what the test is going to be. The 6 questions, every day you're going to get tested. It takes about 2 minutes a day. And then we do a little survey at the end and say, how do you feel you've changed? We have done this research so far with 79 studies, 2,537 participants. What have we learned? 37% of the people said, I'm better at everything. Better at setting goals, more meaningful, happier. 65% said I got better at least 4 out of 6. 89% said I got better at something. 11% said no change. And roughly 0.4% of the people said I got worse. Why? Every day these questions get us to focus on the one thing we can control. What's that question? Did I do my best? By the way, I'm going to make a bet. Show me another HR program that will give you that kind of numbers in terms of employee engagement. Good luck on that. You know what else? This doesn't cost any money. And it takes 2 minutes a day. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. And guess what? It works. And by the way, if you'd like to test it, you are invited to participate yourself. Send me an email. You can participate yourself. Now, let me wrap up. I always like to finish with my favorite coaching advice. My favorite advice, imagine you're 95. Everyone look up here. Take a deep breath and do your hand like this. Go, hand, Imagine you're 95 and you're just getting ready to die and you're on that deathbed. Here comes your last breath. Right before you take that breath, you're given a beautiful gift, the ability to go back in time and talk to the person in this room. The ability to help this person be a better leader. More important, the ability to help this person have a better life. What advice would the wise 95-year-old you who knows what mattered in life and what didn't have for the you that's sitting here right now? You don't have to say anything or do anything. Just answer that question in your mind. Whatever you're thinking now, do that. In terms of a performance appraisal, that's the only one that's going to matter. Some friends of mine interviewed old folks who are dying and asked them this question, what advice would you have? On the personal side, 3 themes. Theme number 1, 3 words. Be happy now. Not next week, not next year, not next month. Be happy now. Great Western disease, I'll be happy when? When I get the money, the status, the BMW. We all have the same when. That old person is when. Learning point from old people, I got so wrapped up chasing what I did not have, I could not see what I did have, and I had everything. People in this room, many of you are among the luckiest humans who ever lived. Many of you have friends and family and health, and you're doing fun work, and you're helping people. You got it all. Don't get so wrapped chasing what you don't have, you can't see it. Learning point number 2, and this is a point President Clinton made, friends and family. When you're 95 years old and you look around that deathbed, none of your coworkers are waving goodbye. You realize these people are kind of important. And learning point 3, if you have a dream, go for it. Because if you don't go for it when you're 35, you may not when you're 45, and you probably won't when you're 85. And it doesn't have to be a big one. Maybe a little one. Go to New Zealand, speak Spanish, play a guitar. Other people think your dream is goofy. Who cares? It's not their dream, it's yours. It's not their life, it's your life. Had a very embarrassing experience a couple of years ago. I was teaching this class and I said, go to New Zealand, speak Spanish. Guy raised his hand, he said, we're in Spain, you idiot. We all speak Spanish. Business advice isn't much different. Number 1, have fun. Life is short. And if you cannot have fun in HR, it will not happen in finance. So have fun. Have fun. Life is short. Number 2, and this is a blessing we all have, do whatever you can to help people. And the main reason to help people has nothing to do with money or status or getting ahead. The main reason to help people is much deeper. 95-year-old you will be proud of you because you did and disappointed if you don't. And the final advice also saying, go for it. HR is changing, your world's changing. You do what you think is right. You might not win. At least you can look in the mirror and say, what the heck? At least I tried. Final thing I would like to say, it's my honor to talk to you. Hope in our brief time together I taught you something that's positive and useful and hopefully help you have just a little bit better life. Thank you very much.